I watched a fawn, a baby deer, trying to cross a railroad track one day. The mother had already crossed the track, and apparently the fawn had never seen a railroad track before. And so he came up and kind of sniffed the rail and then bounded back and jumped to the left and jumped to the right, like fawns tend to do, and then bounded back up to the track again and looked at the rail and looked beyond the rail and then bounded back and ran back a little bit and then came forward again. And this happened 2 or 3 times, and finally he tiptoed across the track. It was the cutest thing you ever saw. This reminds me of the way people approach counseling. You know, we are taught from early childhood that we are supposed to handle all of our problems and issues ourselves without anybody else's help. And that's what we strive for. We can't wait to do things ourselves that formerly our parents had to do for us, like tying our shoes or dressing ourselves. And the rest of our lives, we are striving to do things without our parents, especially when we are teenagers and young adults. And so to think about going to counseling and asking for somebody's help to do something is against our DNA. It's against our training, especially here in the United States, where we are expected to be individuals operating in a society. Asking for somebody's help is just not what we're supposed to do. And yet when we find ourselves in a marriage situation or a job situation or an individual problem of some sort we know that we can't handle, then we consider going to counseling. But it takes place kind of like the fawn trying to get over the railroad track. We think about it, we back off. We think about it, we back off. We dance around, we think about it. We go back to self-help books. We ask our friends. We ask our coworkers. But still, we're not getting the answers that we need. We're not finding out what we need in order to get past the issues that are bothering us. And so finally, we pick up the phone and we call a counselor. And sometimes, like trying to get a date back in the old days, where you finally pick up the phone to call the girl, and just before she answers, you hang up the phone. Then you hang up the phone so you don't get to speak to the counselor. And then you back off, and then you come back, and you finally call, and you get an appointment. Now, I have a lot of admiration for people who get to this point, because it takes a lot of courage to approach a counselor. You don't know what this person's going to be like. You don't know whether you're going to like the person or not, or whether the person's going to like you. You don't know what to say when you get there. You don't know what's going to be said. There's a lot of ifs. There's a lot of mystery. And to take that step is very brave. So you finally get an appointment, and then the morning of the appointment, you call to say that something has come up and you need to cancel, and you will call again later to reschedule. Well, when I hear this from somebody, I don't expect them to call back, because I know that they're still in the approach-avoidance stage. They're not ready yet. It may take months, for some people years, to get to that place again, because it is so scary and so against the DNA of the person. But finally, the person does get an appointment and does come in and sees the therapist. And then comes another contemplative stage of wondering if, do I really want to do this or not? Do I really want to work at it or not? And so sometimes the person will leave counseling and take another few months or maybe a few weeks and then come back or go to another counselor altogether. It's a long process. It's a difficult process for most people. Now, there are some who are very brave or maybe very foolish, however you determine it, who will call and get an appointment and go and get it done right away. And I think part of what goes on with them is that they see the counselor as somebody who's not going to take control of them and fix them, but they see the counselor as somebody who is a resource, like reading a book, that will give them information to help them do what it is that they want to do. And that by far is the healthiest way to look at a counselor. That's the way I've done it. I've had lots of counselors over my lifetime. I've always used counseling to learn to do the things that I didn't know how to do. Early in life, I had trouble with relationships, and so I went to counselors to learn about myself and learn how to better relate to others, especially when it came to sales and business. I went to counseling to learn how to be a better salesperson. I went to counseling to learn how to make more money. I went to counseling for anything that was in my way, any barrier that I wanted to remove, because I knew that I was using another person's brain and the training of someone for years that would help me understand myself better and understand how to get what I wanted. So, if you're thinking about counseling but you're not yet sure, then you're like the fawn. You're bounding back and forth trying to figure out how to get over this railroad track and if you really want to get over the railroad track. But eventually you will, because the mother deer is on the other side, and the only way to get to her is to cross the railroad track. The only way to get what you want is to go through with it. There's a saying that everything that we want lies on the other side of fear. And counseling is a wonderful way to get us past our fears. If you're thinking about counseling and you live in the Roswell, Georgia area, I'd be happy to talk to you about it. I'll give you a free phone consultation and we can talk about what it is that you want to do. My name is Lane Stokes. My direct phone number is 800-989-8037. Give me a call and let's talk about what it is that you want to accomplish, and whatever stage you're in of trying to bound over the railroad track, I'll help you with that. I don't want you to rush into it until you're ready. But when you're ready, you will find out that counseling is a marvelous way of learning to do or getting that which you want. I'm a little different from a lot of counselors in that I had 9 years of formal education on the graduate level, and then another 9 years of supervision type training where I actually had a supervisor like a psychiatrist who trained me to do counseling with children, teens, adults, seniors, do marriage and family counseling. So I had that great advantage, and since that time I've done 30 years of experience in private practice. So if you come to me, you have a great, vast resource that I have accumulated over the years. And I'll be glad to apply those to your life to help you get what you want. So call me, Lane Stokes, 800 989 8037. I look forward to your